Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble. And it comes to you from that city right below you, New York, New York, until midnight tonight. This is Lori Thompson. Yeah, Lori Thompson. I'll repeat that again. That is Lori Thompson.
Okay, I'm so relieved.
And she used to do the newscasts, and you were more than that. You were my aide de camp on the morning show in San Francisco.
Yeah, it was fun. We did kind of a satire of the news, because it was a lot like the Daily Show before the Daily Show.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was just fun, and we didn't take ourselves too seriously.
And they never griped about the way you did the news, did they?
No, it was, I like it. It was very interactive, because, you could pop, instead of like, here now, the news. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would spoof. It was almost like a spoof, which I loved.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah.
But can you imagine doing the newscast today with all that Trump is up to?
Oh my gosh. I've been, just staying abreast of that trial is a full-time gig. And
yeah, go ahead.
No, I have been trying to just like read everything, but it can become a full-time job.
Well, it can become a full-time job. The problem with it is he sucks out so much oxygen from the room that other stories get shunted to the side. Like, for instance, I don't think I've heard in the last week of anybody talking about Gaza.
No.
And on the news, it's kind of like, oh, here's what happened in Gaza today. Ukraine, nothing. Nothing. And it's all because he sucks all the oxygen out of the room. And I think the big problem is that Americans have a small attention span.
Exactly.
They can't deal with more than one story at a time.
Right, and plus he's good color. You never know when he's going to say something outrageous. And what the judge had to kick one of the people on the stand out yesterday.
Well, he didn't kick him out. He told the jury to leave while he admonished him.
Right.
But what gets me about that is these people then go home at night. They're not being sequestered at a hotel.
Which is odd.
And they turn on the news and see what happened while they were out of the room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the sense of it all?
Yeah, it's like Rashomon with the jury,
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't think these people are going home at night and looking at the news?
They have to. But, if only to get a glimpse of themselves. Oh, that tie really works for me,
Well, no, but they don't get seen on screen at all. So,
no.
In fact, there is no video allowed, in the there is video, but it's a closed circuit video that goes to an overflow room.
Yeah. And people arrive at like 4:30 and 5 a.m. just to get tickets to the overflow room.
The news people get priority in the overflow room.
Yeah.
But they get to see like close-ups of Trump and see him nodding off and going to sleep. I mean, it's the only thing about Trump that I consider to be human, and we're making fun of it, and that is I've been in court, with our little thing, and we only had like about maybe 5 days. Our little thing, 5 days, right? And I had a hard time staying awake,
Yeah. Well, Trump is safest when he's sleeping. So
I think so. When he's asleep, nobody can get him.
Yeah,
is the thing.
That was Bob Rubin's line.
It's funny. I had something I wanted to bring up to you, and I thought about it last night, And because of my age, I've completely forgotten what it was.
Plus, what is it about great ideas right before you fall asleep? And you're like, oh, I can remember this. And then you maybe give yourself some mnemonics or some memory aids so that you can remember it in the morning. Poof, it's gone. So, I mean, I used to keep a pad and paper by the bed.
I think it was one of those things I thought of just as I was drifting off to sleep.
Yeah.
And those always seem like great ideas. And if you write them down on a pad next to your bed, you wake up the next morning and they make no sense at all.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're on a shroom trip. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know, that's a revelation.
Yeah. No, and I wanted to ask, one of the things I wanted to ask you, what was the first radio job you ever had and where was it?
Okay. Well, the first paying one, I did the NPR affiliate at my university was run by students. It was great. We did almost everything.
Okay. First paying gig.
Paying. Okay. It was idyllic. It was a country station whose motto was, and because their call letters were WHPI, making whoopee 24 hours a day. So that, I know, well, WHPI, whoopee. And it was above a bank and in a little town called Heron, Illinois. I think it still exists. And the first night was right around Christmas. It was around in December for sure. And there was a light snow falling, and we were on the second floor, and it was right on the tiny town square. And it looked like a Norman Rockwell painting. Right. It was that beautiful. Right. And I thought, I think I'm going to like this radio stuff.
Wow.
And
now,
yeah.
And you did the news, or were you playing?
No, I was a jock.
You were a jock.
I can remember the songs that were popular. Okay. It was, I'm going to love you back to loving me again. That was a Loretta Lynn, I think.
Really?
And then Roll on Mississippi by one of the few black country artists until Darius Rucker came along, and Charlie Pride. And occasionally I'll hear one on some alt country station and go, that's from that. I was only there 2 months.
I never played, I never ever worked a country station, but here's an interesting factoid for you. I worked in Houston, Texas, and most of the time, if you were playing top 40 in Houston, Texas, there were at least 1 or 2 country songs in the top 10.
Sure.
So you played them. And my favorite of all time was Buck Owens.
Oh, he was great. That Bakersfield sound.
Yeah. But I mean, also the sense of humor in his songs.
Yeah.
Was like,
great.
I got the hungries for your love and I'm waiting in your welfare line. Now, come on.
I know. And he did have a good sense of humor, but he also wrote some good ballads like Crying Time. I just listened to that. I have that on my iPad. And he did some. And
the Beatles even did one of his songs. I'm going to put you in the movies. They're going to make a big star out of me.
Yeah.
All I got to do is act naturally.
Right. Yeah, Owens was great. And then he had the Buckaroos. That was the name of his background band. And he had a son that looked just like him who played a red, white, and blue guitar. So, but you know who discovered him later and loved Buck Owens and kind of revived that Bakersfield sound was Dwight Yoakam. And he did it well, too.
Wow. So Buck Owens was a big favorite of mine. But we also had down there, we had what I would call the Louisiana sound.
Oh, okay.
Because this was Houston, Texas, which is a little bit away from Louisiana. So there's a lot of Cajun music that we played.
That's Zydeco?
That made it into the top 10. Now, I got to love Zydeco. I mean, I just I think it's the best music in the country.
Well, it can be so many things. It can be lively, you can dance to it, or it's got some nice slow songs, and so it kind of touches all bases.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, if you looked at it, and I kind of seem to change the picture here, it's only because I'm going to another source where I'm in better sync. I have trouble going out of sync.
And does that just mean that the audio and the video aren't together?
Yeah, right. Little off, enough that it drives me nuts. But we got our money, and I'm going to buy a whole brand new machine here that I think has more power, and then it won't do that.
Yeah, and
of course, after spending like $6,500, it'll probably still be out of sync. But I mean,
save the receipt.
Yeah, save my receipt, exactly.
Well, that's the great thing about Amazon. They got a record of it. You just call it, and, write them, tell there's a problem, and they'll just send you a different one.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll tell you something very strange about me. I suddenly one day woke up and found that my favorite music to listen to was country.
Wow.
So that I knew more about country music than I almost knew about any other kind of music. I mean, I would love listening to but good stuff, the real country stuff that was based in some kind of folk tradition.
Merle Haggard was a good one.
Merle Haggard was very good in that. Of course, Johnny Cash, terrific. I loved Buck Owens. I love all the Zydeco stuff, like, for instance, I got to know Dr. John.
Mac we had him on.
Yeah, Mac Rebenack. And he taught me all about Cajun music. He taught me all about that music I'd been listening to all my life and didn't realize that it had its roots in Louisiana. Like Little Richard's music was all Louisiana based.
Yeah, geography is so much of the art.
Yeah, and you had the guys like Professor Longhair, whose music I used as a theme song in San Francisco.
Yeah, Rum and Coke, was it?
Rum and Coke, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he taught me about Professor Longhair because he said Longhair's the guy who kind of taught him how to play piano.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But you remember we had back in once Dr. John, and we rented a keyboard. We brought a keyboard in, and he played, and Harry Connick did this too, different styles. And Mac was saying that he played in brothels when he was just a teenager.
Yeah, I think this was actually a breakfast with Bennett at the St. Francis Hotel.
Oh,
we actually had him playing with our band, Rebenack. And the minute he started playing that piano with the band, which was Dick Bright's band, which is as white as you can get, right? All of a sudden, with just that piano, the whole band sounded, it had a glow to it.
Swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, in fact, they're doing
Did
so much.
we have Harry Connick Jr. on?
Oh, yeah, and he was wonderful.
God, there are whole people I don't remember we had on.
Oh, yeah, he was awesome. And he did something kind of like what Mac did for us, tutorials on all these different kinds of music. Like we know Zydeco, but within that, there are subgenres. Yeah. And then, in New Orleans jazz, subgenres. And he knew, those were two of my favorite appearances.
I love New Orleans music. I
love New Orleans.
The wonderful thing about New Orleans, folks, if you don't have the chance, if you've been to New Orleans, of course you've been there. You're
oh gosh, I took the train there when I was in college because my cousin lived there.
Yeah.
And it was a blast.
It has the best music anywhere. I mean, literally anywhere. You will not find greater music. And the best food you will find anywhere. There is no food better than Louisiana cooked food. That's why you should go to Popeyes.
Yes, Popeyes. I didn't experience until I went to New Orleans and found Lafayette. Then my uncle lived in Lafayette. Yeah. So I went down there once, and we got Popeyes for my birthday because I'd never had it. And it's pretty authentic.
Oh, it is. Who was it? Paul Prudhomme told me. You remember we had him on the show, too. And he came in and cooked for us. He brought food, you remember? Oh, and it was out of this world. But anyway, he told me, he said, you want the best Louisiana cooking outside of New York, outside of Louisiana, go to Popeyes.
Yeah, it's.
He
I
said,
was surprised.
number one, he said, they have the best red beans and rice anywhere,
Yes,
including my own. And he
Oh
said,
wow!
he said, all the guys that started Popeyes were my proteges. So
That's nice.
it's really authentic Louisiana cooking. That's why their chicken is just so different from any other. You go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, forget it. It's good. I won't argue with it. Well, no, if I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's the same chicken I was buying back in the 60s. They haven't changed the recipe. It's kind of that way is the same way at McDonald's, They haven't changed the taste of their hamburger. In fact, they haven't changed the smell of their restaurants. I'll give you an example. When I was in France, I was out in the middle of France somewhere, and I wanted to get something to eat. And we passed a McDonald's, and I said to whoever I was with at the time, whatever wife I was married to then, let's stop and go to McDonald's. And she went, come on. I said, well, I know one thing. They serve wine in McDonald's in France.
Yeah, in Barcelona too, because you and I ate there once in Barcelona.
But you remember, you walk into McDonald's, and what's familiar? Not the hamburgers, not the fries, not the whatever. It's the smell of the restaurant. Mm-hmm. It was just like the smell of a restaurant at McDonald's here in New York.
Yeah, and have you noticed when you're hungry, that smell is great, but when you're not, it's not great.
But Kentucky Fried Chicken, I got to tell you, Kentucky Fried Chicken has never changed. It's still the same. It's still as good as it was back then. But along came Popeyes, and I said, this is better.
Much.
Plus, I can still get the red beans and rice. They always have the red beans and rice.
Yeah, and it seems healthier. Are there healthier options at Popeyes?
I was at a restaurant in San Francisco. It was like a Cajun restaurant. I mean, it's claimed to be Cajun, right?
Yeah.
And I ordered the red beans and rice. And it came, and I ate the red beans and rice, and I said, have you got the manager of the restaurant here? And they said, yeah. I said, could you send him over? He said, yeah. And he brought the guy came over, and I said, your red beans and rice are okay, but they're nothing compared to what you can get a block down the street at Popeyes. I said,
what did he say?
I said, if I had a suggestion for you, get a bucket, go down there, buy their red beans and rice, and that's what you should be serving here.
Right.
I can't remember his reply, but I think it was something to the effect, I've heard it's pretty good.
The what?
He said, I heard it's pretty good.
I love Popeyes. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It was my birthday, and they had a party, and they said, you've never tried it. Let's try Popeyes.
We have a Popeyes right down the street here. We go to it all the time,
Yeah.
The only trouble with it is that, at least here in Harlem, every Popeyes is a franchise. Mm-hmm. And apparently nobody's going around to make sure they're doing the stuff like they should be doing it. So sometimes I go and I get their chicken, and it's terrific. It's wonderful, it's succulent and all of that. And the next time I get it's all dried out,
Oh, yeah, I wonder if it might have something to do with the oil they're using, or the age of the oil, or that. Yeah, that could be a lot of it.
Or it could be how long the chicken's been under the hot lights.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
the attitude of the chicken.
You get a nice fresh batch, and I got to tell you, it's terrific. It's really terrific. So
I was highly pleased and surprised.
I was amazed.
With Popeye.
Amazed. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's my story about Popeyes.
Yeah, a worthwhile option if you are.
Do you notice how this conversation has gone? The question I asked her was, what was your first job that you got paid for? It was at a country station. Then we discussed country music. Then we got into music in Louisiana. Then we got to we got to food in Louisiana, and finally we got to Popeyes.
I know. See, it's a long, fun journey.
My best Louisiana story is I was traveling to go to work in Florida, in Miami. Excuse me, folks. I have to stop for a moment because I get just a really depressed feeling when I even just peripherally remember working in Florida. Hold on.
I know it was a tough time for you.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were traveling down to that, and so we stopped in New Orleans, and we went to Paul Prudhomme's Chez Paul to get lunch. And we went in there, and I think we had some jambalaya, and we had this and that. It was wonderful. It was just one of the best meals I can say I've ever had anywhere. And finally, my girlfriend, was Xanthi at the time, says, could I get a menu? And she said, fine. Yeah, you can have a menu to take. So they gave her a menu, said, would you like to have it signed by the chef? And she said, oh, yeah, I would love to have that. She said, well, he's downstairs in this trailer. And she said, oh, wow, we'll go meet Paul Prudhomme. I said, come on, Paul Prudhomme probably, this is the height of his stuff. He had all the food, all the little seasonings and this and that.
And the TV stuff.
I said, he hasn't got time to take care of this place personally, you know? We go down to the basement, there's this trailer. We go in the trailer, and who's in there but Paul Prudhomme mixing spices. He's got a scale. He's measuring the spice. And I went, she said, oh, he's not going to be here? And he signed it for her, and he was very nice to us, and,
Very cool.
And then he went back to mixing his spices.
Yeah, because that's what I think. Geography, I'm beginning to think, explains so much about everything.
Yeah.
And so when you are, let's face it, the South has had a lot of unrest. I mean, that darn Civil War kind of shook up the everything. And but there was a time of great sparsity, like people who were living in mansions didn't have anything to eat. And the women, I've read a lot about Southern women during the Civil War, and Robert E. Lee gave his wife a pistol when he put her in a wagon to get her out of the madness with the kids. Mm-hmm. And he said, use it to, if somebody comes at you, if a Union soldier comes at you. And I think he was implying with less than noble intentions, if that soldier, kill him.
Wow.
And if you find yourself in a bad situation, you can kill yourself. I thought that was a pretty good husband. I mean, to look out for her, even though it would have meant great loss to him.
Do you ever remember the worst food you ever got anywhere?
Oh.
Because I was trying to think of it, and I can't remember it. I'm sure there was something I had that was just god-awful.
Steak of poivre. You had steak of poivre and got so sick as a dog.
Yeah, but it was good steak of poivre until I started getting literally dysentery, the trot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm in Switzerland, lying in bed for 3 days because I can't. I get out. I can get out of bed because I had to in order to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was a point at which
just run a hose.
There was a point at which pure liquid was coming out, and I was dehydrating.
Yeah.
And I found out how dysentery, as much as we make jokes about it, hey, fun diarrhea, okay, can kill you.
Oh, it totally can.
Because it almost killed me.
You'll get dehydrated. That's why liquid IV, have you ever tried those? I have that sodium thing, so I always have to keep abreast of all the hydration preparations.
Yeah.
And there's Propel, which is kind of a commercial birthing. And it is okay, but the liquid IV is really good.
Well, we called a doctor, and he gave me one little pill that's seized me up. He said, now go out and get some food to eat. I felt better almost immediately as soon as I got this pill. But for 3 days, I'm like lying there going, I got to go to the bathroom. Then I go to the bathroom. And then I get up, and I almost hit the doorway to the bathroom and go, I got to go again. And I'm back on. I mean, it's horrible. I can see how people die from it. You know.
Yeah, but hydration is key in a lot of.
So let's see. Let me trace this. We started out basically with me asking you what was the first job you ever had. Mm-hmm. We then went to country music. We then went to how we loved country music. Then how I loved Cajun music. Okay.
Queen Ida.
Yeah, Queen Ida. She was on our show too, and you know, all of these things, and we wind up talking about diarrhea. I think that's wonderful, and I think that's where we should end this episode.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Lori Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lori. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
There we go. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? Oh, you know what happens? This thing, look at me. See, you can see right through me. Oh, I'm like a ghost. See, these are things I just never check on, and I really should check on them, and I don't. I really don't. I should, but here it is, and then I've got to go here. See, I get this, and then I go to filters, and then I go to, see, this is a thing called our chroma key, and then what I have to do is bring this, there we go. Now we're fine. And I go close, and this should save it, right? This should save it, but there we go. Am I okay now? Yeah, there we go. If it isn't one thing, it's another, okay? That thing should hold itself. I guess I better check it every night now. Anyway, let me see here. There are some people waiting to come on here, and I guess I should bring them on. Charlie Wallace is here, that's for darn sure. And also somebody we haven't seen in quite a while, if he comes on here. No, he went away. He went away. Trucker Steve was here. And he went, oh, here he is now. There we go. There's Trucker Steve. Wait a minute. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. Trucker Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we just lost Charlie Wallace there. Oh, now we got Charlie Wallace.
I'm back.
Okay, and hello to Trucker Steve. How? Let's get a picture on you, Steve.
Trying to.
Huh?
I'm trying to get a picture. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, just click on. What does he click on? Click on videos, and there's a thing that says stop video, which is probably already stopped. And then you turn it on, and you should be okay. All right? Okay. Well, I don't know.
Well, you don't get to see him.
Oh, there he is. Okay, there he is. Hey, you're looking healthy there, guy.
Yeah. Thank you.
How's the kidney doing? Okay?
Fine.
Fine?
It's good.
Good? And you're in your truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
Twin Falls, Idaho.
Twin Falls, Idaho.
Oh, wow.
So you're back to full trucking,
Back
right?
on the road. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to Fresno and then San Diego. Got a new job.
Wow.
Doing strictly California.
Oh, strictly in California?
Yeah, sometimes Alberta and then down to California from there.
But you don't live in California. You live in Alberta.
Ontario.
Huh?
No, I live in Ontario.
Ontario. Okay.
London, Ontario.
Anyway, that's Trucker Steve, and he has is your dog with you?
Yeah, he's here. He's on the floor.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can see him later. Hey there, Charlie. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You doing fine?
Yep.
Are you happy with everything?
Yeah, I just watched the Young Sheldon series finale, so I'm a little misty-eyed.
Yeah, right. Of course, it was meant to make you misty-eyed.
Yep,
You know. You
felt
know.
like an old friend's gone now.
You know, who I've really gotten to like on that show is what's her name who plays Missy.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
she's gotten to be a really good little actress. I mean, if you
yep,
look at some of the acting chops on those last episodes, she really knows how to evoke emotion. You know.
yeah. I hope she gets her own series.
Yep, I do too. Uh, the guy who played Sheldon, I don't know if he's going to have much of a career. You know, he was good when he was a kid. He was perfect for the part.
When he was a little kid, yeah, but he
But
grew up.
she is just extraordinary
Yeah,
and cute too, really adorable, and going to grow up to be, I think, a rather ravishing woman, actually.
yep.
You know. So, oh, here we go. We got Pam. Hi, Pam. Got to say hello to Pam. Is she
Yeah,
gonna be
she's
there
here.
every night, Jeff? You haven't gotten this down yet after all this time.
No, no.
Let's
How you
al-
guys doing?
let's also get your camera adjusted.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
we go. Okay, now we're all ready to go. How you doing, Alan?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, Trucker Steve, if you can let me know, we can exchange information, and I will be happy to take you to dinner.
Yeah. Of course, you better find a restaurant that has a place to park a truck.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them,
Uh,
around here, especially.
Well, San Francisco, there ain't a lot of parking for
Well,
trucks.
I'm
not in San Francisco. I'm in the East Bay. Down by Fremont, Newark, Union City. There's a lot of truck
By the way,
parking.
if anybody listening to this program is in his neck of the woods, give him a call. He'll take you out to dinner. Okay, is that open to anybody?
Absolutely.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Anyway, so it's Wednesday, and there's nothing to report today. The trial's over here
Thanks.
in New York, at least the main part of the trial. Now it goes to the jury, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can refer to him as a felon. Which, of course, we
Wonderful.
all know it's a kangaroo court,
yep.
right? What?
So
where
does
do
that mean they convict him of being a kangaroo?
Yeah, I don't know. Where do they ever get that term kangaroo court?
I don't know.
I mean,
I bet he doesn't know either.
he doesn't know either. He has no idea. Witch hunt is another one of the ones he likes to use.
Yes. Yes.
Kangaroo court.
Witch hunt is kind of true. He's a witch.
Yeah, yeah. But we've got a pretty it's pretty amazing little trial. But I was mentioning to not Marjorie, but to Lori Thompson on tonight that the terrible thing is that we have kind of forgotten other things going on in the world because this trial has sucked so much oxygen out of the air that we forget that. For instance, we're not talking about Gaza right now. We're not talking about Ukraine as an example. Two
We are
very
talking about
horrible
Gaza.
things which are far more important than the damn Trump trial. But he has sucked so much oxygen out of the room that there's no room left for any of those other things. And as I also said to Lori, and it's true, Americans seem to have a really bad ability at processing more than one thing at a time. Okay, you have your hand up there, Charlie?
Yep, the term kangaroo court came about to describe frontier judges who would hop from one town to another with little regard for making fair rulings. All they wanted to do is get as many trials in as possible.
And this applies how to the judge here in New York City who sits in the same room every day?
Yep.
That's what I mean. He has no idea what it means.
Yeah,
Yep.
he has no idea what it means.
So something you would have liked in the news, Alex, is some of the UK countries are or around there that part of the world are accepting Palestine as a their own sovereign state.
Well, no, they're talking about recognizing the Palestinians as a state.
Why not?
Oh,
I mean,
they should, of course.
You can be for or against the Palestinians, but they should have their own statehood.
Oh, but no, they're horrible, terrible people, and you can't give them a country of their own. How dare you?
The World Court, which I never heard of, or something like that.
It's a kangaroo court, by the way.
Yeah, really. Put out a thing with an indictment
Against
yes.
Netanyahu and
Yep.
and Hamas.
Right, and both. So what are they going to do if they catch them? What are they going to try them up?
Well, that means that Netanyahu can't leave Israel, because anywhere else he could be put under arrest.
Yep.
Somebody in that country, wherever he's at, has got to enforce it. But
Yeah.
in theory,
But
you're right.
I'll tell you the story that made me so happy. Let me see if I can find it here, because I gotta find it for you. Because this is a story that just, there are a lot of times there are stories that don't mean anything to me, but then this one seemed to really mean something to me. Let me see here. Well, there it is. Okay. Are you ready for this? This made me so happy. It made my day today. I had a smile on my face for the rest of the day. Fast rising seas could swamp septic systems in parts of the South. It seems as though the what do you call it? The fast rising seas are creating a situation in which septic systems are overflowing in most of the southern states and also in the Gulf Coast states like Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. So,
but there's no climate change.
Well, we always knew they were full of shit. So this.
They ought to drain Lake Okeechobee and use that as the pit to start with.
Absolutely.
In Florida.
Why not?
That's a good start.
But anyway, so but that's all I got. So have a nice night, everybody, and I'll see you later.
No, wait. I never knew what the chroma key was for.
What?
I never knew what a chroma key was for. Readjusted.
Chroma key is essentially, you have it, believe it or not, on your.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've just never known a use for it.
What it does is you take a background. Like, for instance, let me see if I can take my background off here. Let me see here. I gotta go here, and then I gotta go here, and if you may notice, here's my background. As you see this background here,
right?
But that's not really there,
right?
Okay, what is really there? Oh well, wait a minute, I can't do it.
You took yourself off.
I can't do it. Wait a minute, maybe I can do it by going to none. There we go.
Okay. And we just see a green screen.
And what happens is that when I initiate the green screen, it cuts a key around anything that isn't green. Around, in other words, if it's green, it doesn't show up.
Right.
So I can't wear anything green.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In fact, I don't have anything on me right now that's green.
And that's why some of your waters and stuff look like you're not holding it.
Exactly. Like lime flavors or whatever. Right. So, and then when I add the background, you get this. Or you get this. Or you get this. Or you get this. Oh, okay.
Wow.
But you can do that with what when you want to put a background, on your picture on Zoom.
Yeah.
It's really kind of creating a chroma key, but it's an artificial chroma key.
I'm going to look it up after the show to get a. I never heard anybody use it, and I watched you use it a few minutes ago.
Your good pal uses it all the time.
My good pal, Phil Meyer?
Yeah.
Don't say his name. Don't say his name 3 times.
Uh-oh, like Beetlejuice, huh?
Yeah, but he's had a chroma key. And, Trucker Steve isn't really in his truck. That's a chroma key. He's really,
He's really in his bathroom.
Yeah, but if any of you want to go to your Zoom and then you go to the part that goes under video, it goes virtual background. What you do is you just simply can you can use any background. Like let me take this down. That's the green screen, okay?
Right.
But I can take this and I can say I don't have a green screen, and look at what it does.
Yeah.
See? So you kind of have an automatic green screen.
Right. So I just changed mine, but these are just settings in Zoom.
Hmm?
I don't have a green screen now. I have not a bad looking. The trouble that I don't like
I have
about
a green screen, there's that. Then I bring this up and there we go.
Right.
See?
Wow, that's clever, boy. You got to be a mover. You can move a whole room with one hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of like that.
The only thing it's a green screen and it's on a platform. It's a thing that unrolls.
I've seen them.
And it has a bottom on it, and it stands there all by itself, and it's very good. It's not that expensive either. But every time I'm not doing the show on the weekends, I got to take it and move it to the back so it's not in the way, and that's the only problem with it.
I like these backgrounds, but when you get out of the picture, your part of you moves. You can lose the side of your face and
stuff. Yeah, but they do a pretty good job of creating a chroma key, an artificial chroma key.
Okay.
But that's
thanks for the explanation.
Good example of what we're talking about.
I've seen it, never knew what it did, but I watched you do it right before the show.
Yeah. Well, it's because I had a problem with it, because what happened was I have that was my chroma key for just my camera. Okay, and so I have to adjust it, and it went out of adjustment. As you saw, it looked like I was a ghost, so I had to tighten up the chroma key, and then it was fine. Yeah. So that's another boring explanation on this show, okay?
Stayed up 5 minutes. Some of the people out in listening land might not have known that either.
Yeah, yep. Got the air conditioner on tonight.
Me too.
Because it gets hot in here.
Yep. I'll bet even Brian has his on.
What is that?
Zyrtec?
My kind of day. Zyrtec D.
What is that? Is that for allergies?
Yeah, allergies.
Is it bad out there?
Yeah, it's been really bad lately. And
yes.
Well, I grew up in California.
To my level, it's bad. I rarely get really bad allergies, but today it was really bad.
I suddenly realized I got color in my face.
Yep.
I just.
You're going outside and walking with Marjorie.
I took a short walk yesterday, and I've got my face is red now.
You got to put sunscreen on.
No, I don't.
Be careful with that skin cancer.
Yeah, right. Right. No, I've had terrible sunburns in my lifetime. Never got skin cancer.
Well, yeah.
And
kids that lay out on the beach as youngsters are the ones
I'm not that fair a person,
We know that.
Yeah.
My friend just got diagnosed. He had some little red spot forever, and then all of a sudden it started making a rash. And so what the doctor said, oh yeah, you have some skin cancer. It's not spreading or anything. We'll just zap it out. And then he has tattooed arms, so then he's got to get it touched.
Wow.
Wow. So you had to have you had skin cancer?
No, my friend. My friend just got diagnosed last week.
Oh, I see. And so
But
what?
he just had a little spot. Like I said, he had like a little red spot forever, and then
They
all of a
laser
sudden,
it away, don't they?
yeah, they just blast it away and then touch up his tattoos.
They laser it away and it goes away. Okay, that's good. Anybody
There's
else have interesting news? There's not that much happening.
No.
You know.
I thought maybe sometime in this past couple of days, Marjorie Trash Can Green would try and screw something up with OAC again. Or something.
Well, I went back and I saw that video of her arguing with those people in Congress. Man,
Oh,
that
yes,
was
good.
cool. Cat fight.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, but
absolutely.
Ocasio-Cortez really handed it to her.
She held her own, that's
That
for
and
sure.
the black woman that she was fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just don't start a fight with a black woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I learned my lesson years ago.
Really?
His mother.
Oh no, you didn't. You know. You know that head bob that they do.
Yeah.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene took her on, and I went, "What? You know? Are
Oh,
you
yeah.
kidding me? I mean, Congress isn't supposed to be like that. All right." But we got a holiday weekend coming up. Is anybody doing anything extraordinary?
No.
No.
What holiday?
This is the most exciting.
Memorial Day.
What?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Monday, right?
It's Monday. Yeah, I might do my little show on Monday anyway.
Yep. Oh, good.
Mainly because I have no life.
Me either.
Isn't
we have a
it
few days off.
Indianapolis 500?
Oh yeah, that
we
is
have
on.
Oh, yeah, that's
F1's
Memorial
in
Day.
Monaco. F1's in Monaco, so it's early starts like 5 and 6 a.m. to watch live racing.
Ooh.
Oh, the one in Monaco. You mean? Yeah,
Yeah, Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah.
that one actually goes through the streets of Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the week before they have Amelia, and that one is like the race circuit, and then they go into the streets in Monaco.
But no,
That
it's
one-
almost like they wanted to have something to drag people there in the way of a race or something, and they went, "Yeah, but we're not big enough to have a race." Well, then we'll just have them race on the roads.
Yeah.
And I think they
They
even
do that
go
in
up
California,
into the
too.
hills, don't they? Too.
What was that?
They have them go up into the hills as well.
Hmm.
You have
A
these.
little bit.
You have these
yeah.
three
And they go through the
roads.
big tunnel, and they have that really sharp turn, and the cars have been growing so much that now they're having a hard time going around those corners.
Well, I know
Yeah.
that. I know that tunnel. I've gone through that tunnel.
Mm.
But you've got also these three roads. There's the Bosch Corniche, and there's another Corniche. There are three Corniches, and there's one at the bottom, one in the middle, and one at the top. And you could travel any of those when you're going through the south of France. You know.
They do a Grand Prix style race through Long Beach, California every year on the streets of Long Beach.
Oh.
In Indy cars, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's not what they use in Monaco?
No, Monaco's the F1.
Oh, okay.
Formula One. Yeah, Formula One's the Formula One, but they did Las Vegas last year, so pretty
Do
interesting.
you like watching car races, Brian? I know you're a car fan.
Yes. Yeah, I love. Yeah, and then when I got the McLaren, then I really got into it. So
Mhm.
because McLaren has a team, so it's nice to root for somebody that you have
Yeah.
interest in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Although on that wall in your house you have a big Ferrari sign.
I know.
Hmm.
Yeah, my stepfather was really into F1 racing and stuff like that.
so is that how you got into it?
I watched it a little bit, but I wasn't into it. And then when I got the McLaren, then I started watching, and they had a show called Drive to Survive, the one on Netflix,
Yeah.
and that sort of got really the whole U.S. market to start watching F1 stuff. And it just happened to be the same time I got the McLaren. So yeah, then I got really into it, and then we met one of the racers, Lando Norris, a real popular guy. He just won the one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, and Adrian gets up early. She'll watch it with me, so that's fun.
Does you like watching car racing?
She watches like 5 minutes and then she starts looking at her iPad. So, but she stays with me, so that's important.
Did you ever race one of your cars?
Every day when he goes to Lodi.
No, I'm talking about.
No, I want to track my car, but then it gets into, I can't afford if something happens to it. So, but yeah, there's a few guys that track their cars. They have a McLaren day at Sonoma Raceway, and they have some really expensive cars. So I may do that one time. So you just follow a group through the corners and stuff like that. Nothing big. So I may do that one time with this car.
Well, I used to tell
the handling and performance of this car is just unbelievable.
Well, I went out one day and I needed a new car. So we went into a dealership. And there was this car that I liked. It looked really nice. And it happened to be a Z300. At that time, I think they were still Datsuns, but I can't remember. Yeah, but anyway, it was Z300. And so I bought it, right? I could afford it. I had a lot of fuck you money back in those days, and I went, okay, let's buy it. And we actually paid cash for it. It was $29,000. Now, again, you don't think that's a lot of money, but back then, that was a lot of money put out for a car. Mm-hmm. So I buy this thing. I just bought it because it looked good. And the top came off, and I could, on a nice day, I could go drive up to Sonoma.
Was your hair flowing?
My hair was flowing, oddly enough, in those days. So anyway, so I buy this car. Now I suddenly notice something I never noticed with any other car I ever owned. As I drive by some kids on the highway, they'd honk and go.
No.
And I went.
And the pretty girls would say, "Stop, give us a ride."
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that in my whole life, I never had a car that people gave me that kind of look, and went, "Boy, are you cool? You got that?" I went, "Wow."
Imagine if you were in a Ferrari.
The kids here always want you to rev it up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. Makes a lot of noise.
Yeah,
what do you want
but the Nissan did not. It was a Nissan by the time I bought it.
No, they were quiet.
They were quiet. Yeah. Before that, I had a Mazda RX-7. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Brian? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I told you I lost a race on 280. We were going about 70, I guess 75. And we both jumped on it, and he left me. I thought I was hot in my 5.0 Mustang convertible. But that rotary motor,
it had
really
the Wankel engine, which was a rotary engine.
Wankel. Yep.
Wankel.
I thought it was pronounced Wankel.
Wankel.
Okay.
I owned one. Damn it! I know why you pronounce it. But anyway, the rotary engine was just, and you didn't hear it a lot. It was very quiet engine. So you couldn't really rev it. It was impossible to rev.
One of my neighbors has a 300Z that he keeps in the garage. It's his baby. And he paid, I don't know, he bought it brand new, and he paid somewhere around what you said, around $30,000. And he's been offered a lot more for it because it's all original.
Well, I'll tell you what the worst thing was about the RX-7. I mean, excuse me, the Nissan Z300 was it had a skirt on the front of it. And every time I would go into like a parking lot at a grocery store, and they had those, those little bumper things there, it would get hooked on it.
Yeah.
And eventually, every now and then, every year, I'd have to buy a new bumper, because those things kept ripping off.
I bet your McLaren is pretty loaded.
No, I don't get close to those things. No, but I had a LS 460L, the Lexus, big Lexus, and I had it lowered with 22s, and yeah, those things have ripped off a couple of my bumpers. I had to replace them really bad.
Yeah, but now also
they're tire stop, right?
Lexus had a sports car. Am I right about that? It was the what was it?
Who?
Lexus had a sports car.
Yeah, they have a couple.
Yeah, but no, what was it? It was called. All I know is everybody I knew at these computer companies wanted one.
Oh no, you're talking about the NSX, right?
The NSX. Yeah.
NSX, yeah, and those things are going for big money now.
Really? It was a sweet car, and it was a sweet ride. The worst ride I ever had, though, was not the Ferrari, but the El Diablo.
Yeah, a Lamborghini.
Lamborghini El Diablo. I never rode in a worse car in my life. If I didn't have hemorrhoids before I went to Lake Tahoe in one of those things, I had them when I got back.
The NSX, the big thing with the NSX is it had racing technology and all the suspension. So back then, 92, 90 to 96 or something, I almost bought one, but I couldn't fit in it because my legs are too long. My knee was in between the shifter and the steering wheel, so I didn't get it. But,
really?
Those were like 30,000 at that time. After they sort of came down depreciated, but after 10 years, I mean that technology for the suspension was the best. So that's like Honda racing stuff.
Oh, I had a Mazda RX-7. Was that considered a sports car?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like an RX-7, or the 300Z rather.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And I had one of the original Mustangs. You know.
Really?
Oh.
But that wasn't really a sports car. You had a back seat and everything like that. It didn't. It looked like a sports car. That was what was so great about it. But it didn't have any of the pedigree, shall we say, that a sports car has. Anybody?
What year was that one?
What?
What year was that Mustang?
The Mustang was 19. Let's see. When I got out of the Navy, I was in the Navy. God, I'm trying to remember now. When did I get out of the Navy? I can't remember.
Didn't they come out in 64?
64 and a half was the
okay,
first
it was
year.
the year after the first year. It was the 65. Yeah, I just gotten out of the Navy, and that was in 1965. And I needed a car. I didn't have a car at that point, a decent car at that point. So we.
Or was it just like a base model?
Well, I'll tell you, with the original Mustangs, the base model was pretty much every model, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Well, they had a inline 6, and then they had the V8s.
Yeah.
So either had one of those.
And I think I got a inline 6 because I wanted the 8s ate up too much gas. You know.
Didn't the
And it
performance
was only like 25 cents a gallon back then.
Yes.
didn't the performance Mustangs come out in the early 70s? Like the GT and stuff like that?
Well,
The Shelby?
No,
yeah. Well, Shelby
that was in the 70s.
kind of took Mustangs and made them into his own car. You know?
Yeah, Carroll Shelby.
Yeah.
Carroll Shelby, yeah.
Yeah, I had many Mustangs in high school, for about 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were buying them for $3,500.
I also had a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. I guess now that I say I didn't buy sports cars, I bought cars that were sporty. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about the Mustang is it's got a big back seat in it.
Yeah.
If you're going to high school,
Yeah, but then
it comes handy.
You seen the new ones? They got like no leg room in the back.
Yeah.
None.
Nobody buys them for their back seat nowadays. They buy them for the performance car. I rode an electric one recently. Well, they have a lot of get up and go.
Oh, electric cars have real get up and go.
I know. I mean, I've been in Teslas because they're around here, but I'd never been in the electric Mustang. But it's not as quick as the Tesla, or as nice as the Tesla. But boy, I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed. This is from a guy that drives an Econoline E150. That when you floor it, Brian's got pictures of it. When you floor the damn thing, it takes you 22 minutes to get up to freeway speed. Not quite, but I actually opted. I could have got a V6, and I opted for the V8, even though gas mileage was a little bit worse. But it's a big, heavy vehicle, and you need a V8 for it. So
Yeah.
now you can't get them in that. Now they're 6s and 4s and turbos and.
Anybody else here ever own a sports car? Tony, you look like
I got
a
one.
sporting. You have a sports car?
Yeah, I showed you a picture of it. Remember?
Yeah, but
Outside my house.
yeah,
I
but
have an '86 Corvette.
oh wow, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful car that was. My friend Buddy Love owned, I don't know if he still has it, he had a Corvette. He had a real good Corvette, but I think it was earlier than that. I think it was one of the 60 Corvettes out back in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, the Stingray.
Right now they're up to generation number 8. I got a C4.
Yeah, but these were Stingrays back then.
Yeah.
And man,
Well, they still make the Stingrays now.
yeah, okay. But in those days, it was a gorgeous car.
They're nice until you get into a severe accident. They splinter all over the place. And I've seen
fiberglass.
I've seen my fair share of accidents that involved Corvette Stingrays. That they just
Well, you say splinter because they're fiberglass.
It's a fiberglass body.
Yeah. But what was the advantage to the fiberglass body, Brian?
Weight.
Big weight.
They,
Yeah, weight.
And they don't rust.
And they what?
They don't rust. Yeah.
They don't rust.
They don't rust. Yeah.
But they splinter. So, but didn't they used to, when they had to fix it, if it got into an accident or something, didn't they just use glue to put it back together again or some kind
It's
of?
resin and
Yeah.
fiberglass mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice car. If I was getting a sports car, I would get that. I only had one sports car. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the worst car in the world? I was always told it was the Fiat.
It was a bunch of them.
I have Tony's sports car right here. It's a little Mustang.
Oh, I got them. I had the big wheel 78X.
Did you? I didn't collect it. It says LAPD on it.
The only sports car that Tony ever owned was a Hot Wheel.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah, that was the case. Don't touch it. Don't bend it.
Boy.
That's when the doors open and the tires move, and
Be surprised they're worth money nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, they,
My God.
Really?
I'll just.
Who, all of a sudden, everybody's quiet.
Oh,
Well, I used to have a bunch of cars that you guys probably never had. They were all Saabs.
Little two strokes. Mix
No,
oil. Did you get the two strokers?
No.
You mix the
Really?
oil with them?
no, there were four
Ring, bing, 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 bing.
turbo with them. Very
We used to have a
interesting.
customer that did that. You come in and get a little bit of gas, and you take a little oil and dump that in the gas tank and make sure it was mixed right.
Mm-hmm.
Shake the car a little bit, make
Yeah.
sure it was shook up. Then it would
Was
go
it a
down the road
sports car?
smoking away like
the
a little
funny thing is
motorcycle.
the new Saabs,
Two-cylinder.
yeah, the new Saabs are don't use that, and they still smoke.
Well, I had always heard terrible things about Fiats. Somebody said Fiat stands for Fix It Again, Tony.
I've
Mhm.
heard
really?
Yeah, and that they were always breaking down. And I didn't believe people when they said this until I went to Italy, and I'm driving down the road in Italy, and about every 5 miles, there's a sign saying Fiat Repair Shop 1 mile. And
I
this was
used to
like
own one.
every 5 miles.
I had a Fiat 850 coupe.
Yeah.
I worked on it all the time. Rewired the whole damn thing a couple times because it burned up.
Now, you do know that if you go to Spain, I don't know if this is so anymore, but in the days when I used to go to Spain a lot, Fiat had a car in Spain, but in Spain, you couldn't have a company from another country do things in Spain without having a Spanish partner. And so in Spain, the Fiat was a Seat.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
But it
remember
was the
something
same
like
exact car, but they had, American ownership.
that. Spain.
Oh, everything, different companies. You buy a Chevrolet and be Chevrolet of Spain. So.
Well, Fiat, I always thought of them as a small car company, but for a while they owned Chrysler.
Did
The other way around.
Did
Oh, sorry.
Who did you? What did you say, Kevin?
Chrysler owned Fiat.
Oh,
Chrysler owned Fiat. It was the other way around. Yeah.
oh, okay. I got it wrong. It's
What?
happened
Drink.
before.
No
That I've
big
been wrong.
deal.
Drink. Drink.
Everybody have a drink? Yeah, really, I got it wrong.
Yeah,
So.
and then they had Daimler Chrysler. Daimler bought up Chrysler, and who's Daimler? What did they do in Europe? I never heard of them before they bought up Chrysler.
What the hell? They were. I want to say they
They
were
do
a
trucks
truck
too. They
company.
build
Yeah, they're a
Freightliners.
truck company. Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. We have two semi-truck drivers here. Of course, we've got trucker Steve, and we've got Kevin, who was. You're not a truck driver anymore, are you?
No.
You don't do it.
He's a
Gave up my
DoorDash.
license a couple of months ago.
Oh,
What?
no.
Oh, you lost. You gave up your.
I finally gave it up.
Why? Just didn't need it, right?
Yeah, they wanted me to take all kinds of other tests. I had my TSA and my Homeland Security, all that shit coming up, and I just decided I don't need it anymore. So,
Do you have that kind of stuff up in Canada, or do you have to worry? Do you have to have too many different licenses and things like that to drive a truck? And do you have to have?
I only have a
special-
CDL. That's it.
well, if he had hazmat, yeah, he would have to.
But to
Oh,
do-
yeah.
But you don't haul hazmat, do
You
you?
get that through the company. It's just a dangerous goods card.
Yeah, see, I would have to maintain all that myself, and it's quite costly. And if I don't use it, why would I? I did for a while. I retired 9 years ago, and the company paid for all that stuff, and it was quite expensive. And I did it for, I think, 5 years, or 2 cycles. And I said, "Why am I doing this?"
but your truck is out of Canada. So when you come into the United States, do you have to have any special licenses and stuff to run it through the United States, or do you just?
Well, yeah, it comes with a permit book.
A what?
Every state you have to have a permit, basically,
Every state?
to run through it.
Wow.
Pretty much,
Permit to
yeah.
operate, yeah.
Well, how do you do that though? I mean, how,
You got to order them through the DOT, through to order their permits, like alcohol permits, hazmat permits,
Yeah, but-
road
but like-
tax.
Depending on what you're hauling, yeah.
yeah, but
it's-
do you have to have it for?
There's a lot of money involved. Like a friend of mine knows an owner operator who made $330,000, and he took home 130. All the rest of the money was expenses for the truck and taxes.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's expensive to be an owner operator, especially
you're
now
in
with the fuel
California-
prices. Yeah.
And if you're in California, it's even worse.
Why is
There's
it worse?
drivers that won't even come to California anymore.
Really?
Yep.
Yep. Because of emissions. Emissions is the worst in California. And they're getting worse.
But you say you're going
Yeah,
through
'cause
California, right, Trucker Steve?
We have to put DEF fluid in the truck, and they have to have this regen system, which basically burns the exhaust, recirculate it so you don't get that black smoke out of the exhaust pipes like they used to.
Wow.
You're missing so much of a sticker on your valve cover, your emission sticker, they can shut you down.
Really?
Yep.
So it's got to be pretty expensive to be a truck driver, to have your own business.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot of expense. You pay road tax in every state,
You're better off
Okay, so-
working
but-
for
and
somebody.
profits you
Let
run
me
in.
ask you this, plain and simple. Do you make a decent profit?
If,
Well, I've never been an owner operator, so
yeah, you gotta be
I-
working
I-
for somebody.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
you drive other people's trucks.
yeah, I don't own the truck. No,
That's the best way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you just get paid by the mileage to go take something and deliver it someplace and get it back. And the owner, what does the owner get out of it? I mean, is there enough profit for him? There must be.
Well, yeah, they get their share, and driver gets paid, and
Yeah.
all expenses, fuel. Like these trucks, you fuel them up about every 2 to 3 days,
Well,
depending how big your tanks are.
Yeah, there's a brake line where you can you either got to go super big or just keep it real small. You can't go in the middle, otherwise you won't make money. You gotta have thousands of trucks on the road, or just one or two and do it yourself. It seems like.
There's companies right now that are just going under because the fuel prices are just so much that, like, there's one company here in Canada and Ontario, Pride Logistics. They were, before COVID, they had a $2 billion profit. They were a rather large company. Now they're $2 billion in the hole, and they're in bankruptcy.
Wow.
It will kill you.
Yep.
I should ask both of you, because both of you are truck drivers. That would drive me nutty, being a truck driver. I couldn't do it. But did you seem to enjoy it, Kevin? And you obviously you like it, Trucker Steve, because it's been your life, you know, except for that time when you were ill and had to get better. But outside of that, it's been pretty much your life, hasn't it?
Well, since I was 25, I'm 49 now.
And how about you? How about you, Kevin? How
Doing it almost
24
years now.
I did it for 41 years. I started in 78 and finished in basically 2015.
But you liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, I always said it's the best job because it's one of the only jobs that you can walk into your boss's, into work, and the first thing your boss says is, "Get the hell out of here." Get in your truck and get out of here.
Oh boy!
I say, "Okay, bye. See you tonight."
I noticed.
And then when you get home, you're leaving. Bye.
I noticed that you just brought in a guest, didn't you?
No.
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 Why are you saying no?
The worst thing about trucking are all the drivers. Since I drive the load 3 days a week, people still cut them off and up to the light. They'll cut in front of them. Like, they see, like Livermore, there's a couple lights that go through, and there's a truck coming, and the person will get in front of them just to be like first in line there, and that you just cut off 20 feet of stopping distance for that guy. And man,
as that truck is loaded, that's a lot of weight to try and stop.
Now, what I've heard, though, also there is an advantage that some women like to flash truck drivers.
That's the best part.
Is that true?
That part, huh?
Used to be really
Kevin
good.
Went into it.
It used to be,
all the time.
What do you mean it used to be? Why isn't it now?
I don't know. Steve could tell you more about nowadays, but back in the day, all the time. I mean, you wouldn't believe what people do while they're driving. You would not believe it.
And to the benefit of truck drivers, then, huh?
Not necessarily, just to the benefit of each other, and then all of a sudden they realize that truck drivers are watching.
Yeah. Is it bad in your estimation, Trucker Steve? Was there a lot of the flashing going on?
I have been mooned once before. This was near Edmonton. A girl dropped her pants and just stuck her pressed ham up against the window. I just happened to look down.
I ain't just talking about hams. I'm talking about dudes doing themselves. I'm talking about girls doing girls doing boys. You wouldn't believe the stuff they do.
I was south of Detroit.
Yeah.
One time.
Stop.
Going to Indianapolis, I think. And a guy was jerking off in his driver's seat.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we have
I-75.
We have young listeners.
Yeah, I know, that's why I can't
involved now.
It's okay.
So we probably have to move on to other discussions.
She doesn't know what's going on. It's okay.
But yeah,
I failed to ask.
Going back to the traffic stuff, though, I know that for a fact that Steve probably goes through hell with these other guys on the road nowadays because they give a truck driver's license to just about anybody. I can imagine what it's like nowadays. I wouldn't want to be on
in California.
There's a lot of bad
the
drivers
western
now.
states. I see them going over the hills and Shasta and stuff like that, and I look and I go, "How the hell did you get a license, dude?" And they jump out into the fast lane and they jump out into the high dollar lane and they stop everybody on the road. And they got governors on their trucks and they cannot go any faster than about 55 miles an hour. They still jump out there loaded. And they stop everybody, and then they're down to 40 miles an hour, and they know they can't pass that truck, but they still do it.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why people are pissed at truckers.
They're more.
Well, let me ask you this: what's the story on electric trucks? Are they a reality, or
get me started?
Yes.
They might be good for local work, but I wouldn't use them for a long haul.
But the thing I was thinking of, can't they carry a rather large battery if they have to?
They
because
have
they've
to.
got you've got
The whole bottom of the truck is battery.
Yeah, and how far can it go on one charge?
Yeah,
Well, they claim the Tesla could go 500 miles on a charge.
wow.
But then you got to stop for like an hour or two to charge it up again.
Probably more than
Maybe,
that.
but the guy I talked to who drives
Yeah,
one,
not sure.
the guy who I talked to drives one, and he said it's unbelievable. He says the torque and everything to pull that thing, and they have
That's a Frito-Lay truck. Is that a Frito-Lay truck?
No, the yellow Frito-Lay. This is the first one I saw white. But yeah, I've seen the Frito-Lay. Like I see them like once a week on my drives.
Why do you
I've
call
seen them out there
Why do
too.
you call them Frito-Lay? Do they look like potato chips?
No, they were
Yellow
hauling
and
potato
it has
chips.
Frito-Lay.
They're hand potato. Yeah, they
Maybe
haul
it's
light
easier to
loads.
pull.
Yeah, but
the guy's really impressed by it, and he said they're definitely coming. So
What was he hauling?
he wasn't hauling anything.
No,
Air.
that's why.
Air.
but still,
Hauling
you
air.
know, I mean, it's got to take up a lot of time to charge those things. And for a truck driver, you like to be on the road, right?
But you also got to remember they got limited hours of service now to be on the road. So
Can
you
you
probably
charge
run
it
up 500
overnight,
hour, 500.
You can sleep while it's charging.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I said. You could sleep, but
you go
were
500 miles, you're probably out of hours anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Well, maybe
And when you
that's-
run out of hours nowadays, you pull over on the side of the road and you're stuck where you are.
Yeah.
If your dispatcher ain't good about it and you're not good about
I don't
keeping
think
your
this
hours.
whole going to electric is going to exactly work. I
The
agree
thing I'm
with you.
worried about is autonomous trucks that they're talking about.
The autonomous one, yeah, that's
no driver. Yeah.
No driver.
I don't think they should.
They still claim they have to have a driver, but when it gets to the point where they don't want a driver in it, just a truck driving on the road, who's going to chain the tires when it's trying to climb Donner Pass or Shasta?
Yeah.
Who's
The
going to
higher
open the
the
doors when it
CHP.
backs into a dock? Who's going to walk the bill of lading to the shipping office?
Who's going to do a tire thump every 50? Who's going to do a tire thump every 150 miles or
Wait a
whatever?
minute, explain a tire thump.
Yeah, I feel like it's like
Well, when you're hauling hazardous materials, you're supposed to check your tires every 150 miles.
And how do you check them? By thumping them?
You get out, you
You go
walk
out there and
around, you
look at
bang
the
them with a
service
stick, basically. That's what
And
it
what
is.
do you?
With
and
a,
what
with
do
a
you
hammer or
say don't fail.
see, these are
Tire
things
thump.
none of us know because we
No,
don't
I have no
drive
idea.
trucks.
Tire thump.
Yeah.
I thought that was the way they're taking a lunch break.
No, have you ever seen a guy walking around a truck with a baseball bat looking
No.
thing? He's
That's a
whacking his
gangster.
tires.
And what are you
Tire
listening
thump.
for? What are you
Yeah.
listening
What does
for?
that tell you?
It tells you your tires are low or flat.
Oh, really?
if it bounces off quick, if you hit the tire and it bounces off quick, your pressure is good. But if you hit it and it kind of like a soft thud,
Yeah.
might have a flat or low air.
Wow. Yes, Tony.
When you see a guy get out of a truck in New York with a bat, that means it's a gangster and he's taking over the truck. Remember in Goodfellas? Get out.
Yeah, he said, because you may,
Get out.
he grabs the guy's ID,
All right, you can have it.
grabs the guy's ID and says, you may think you know who I am, but I know who
But I
you
know
are.
who you are. Yeah. You can have
Cut
it.
me off.
Yeah.
The interesting thing was when you asked Kevin the question, he was trying to explain the tire thumping.
Yeah.
Tony was talking the whole time.
Yeah.
So nobody could hear Kevin.
That's nice.
Yeah. But anyway, so
I
well,
couldn't understand the first part of what Kevin had to say.
I always enjoy programs when we do something and I learn stuff I never knew before.
Yep.
And I'm glad that at 84, I have a few years left in my life, but before I go, I've learned what tire thumping is.
There you go.
You know? I can take that to
Next you can learn how to drain your mud flaps.
What?
Oh, what's,
What?
Why would
Drain
you
your mud flaps.
drain your mud flaps? That sounds like
Sounds
some
like-
kind
That's
of...
when you got to piss real bad and you jump out on the side of the
Oh,
freeway.
I see. 'Cause
Oh.
that's exactly how it sounded.
That's exactly what it is. Well, get out
your
and drain my mud flaps.
Yeah, yeah.
when we stop before Kevin, we gotta go to the bathroom. Well, there's a diner down the block. No, we'll go right here. I'm not waiting.
I like the cars that have these giant.
One good thing about 22.5-inch tires.
These giant metal testicles hanging on the back of them. I like that. So, no, trucks were never anything I thought about owning. I never thought about owning a truck. You know.
I owned a company for about, I don't know, 6 months until my wife divorced me.
Oh.
And then I gave it to her. And she ruined it.
Really?
And she ruined it.
What did
But
you, were you selling?
We'll get away from that subject.
Were you selling trucks?
No.
Oh, wow.
It was an actual trucking company.
I could see him as a boss, Kevin.
We were starting.
Oh, you mean you were a trucking company that hauled
We were
stuff.
starting a company, yes. We had 3 trucks at the time.
I would imagine that's going to be lucrative, too.
And then you did the one thing which you should never do when you own a company, and that's get divorced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the time it was a perfect timing because I gave her all my shares and I took all my stuff and we went separate directions.
Yeah. And you've never
And
looked
she ran
ba-
it into the ground.
And you've never looked back.
Never looked back.
Yeah. That's good.
What a great life.
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Kind of wish it would have worked, but because it was a good situation. But anyway.
Well, you see, these are things that I have
I
no
digress.
knowledge of. You know, I mean, I've always appreciated truck drivers. I mean, when I've seen them driving down the road, I go, that's got to be not the easiest thing in the world.
Just
And
think about this.
They are the backbone of this
They
country.
really are.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
If you got it, a truck brought it.
Yeah.
Period.
Could you imagine restocking a Safeway store or Lucky's or whatever's in your neighborhood with a pickup truck? I mean, semis are great for delivering large loads.
Yeah.
We
I
could,
used to haul toilet paper by
Well,
the
I mean, you do have
48-foot load.
you do have trains, you know, which haul
Yeah.
stuff. But once the train lets the load off, it has to be picked up by a truck, right?
Yep.
Trains, planes, and boats can't go everywhere
Yep.
But trucks can.
Not over
for
water.
the most part. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, yeah. We got about 30 seconds left before I start playing the theme. Amy doesn't have a show tonight, by the way. She
or
won't have a
tomorrow,
show
or the next night.
Or tomorrow.
or the next night. So you guys, you're left with me.
Is Josh gonna take over one of those nights?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it. You know, I really should, but
What are they electing down in Texas?
huh?
It's a primary election runoff. Yeah.
Oh,
So really,
So
for-
who's going to run for each party in November? We'll find out tomorrow.
Oh well, I bet Trump wins in the Republicans,
you think?
Yeah.
and I think Biden will probably win for the Democrats. Hasn't this been the most boring year ever?
And I ask something. Can you guys not find anybody that's younger and more reasonable than these two morons?
We're trying.
Sleepy Joe looks like he's ready for the nursing home. He looks like he has
Hey,
dementia.
listen, you know who I
getting
think? I
close to-
think Trump is actually
Trump
worse. I mean, at least Biden doesn't fall asleep,
Yeah.
you know, in public. And
He looks like he is. Looks like he's standing asleep sometimes.
Trump was talking to the NRA this week, and stopped for 30 seconds.
Just stood there.
Stood there.
so
Biden can control his
if
flatulence.
what you're saying, Mr. Trucker from Canada, if you're trying to say to me is these guys are not the best candidates we could come up with, you're absolutely correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know
They're
that
too
also.
old.
They're too
They-
old.
We know that
They are too old, and I'm 84, and I'm saying they're too old. Okay, because I know what my limitations at 84.
How old was Obama when he got in? He was what, 45,
45,
46?
something like that.
Yeah, he was pretty. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, we gotta go. I want.
No, we don't need to go. There's no Amy. You just said, don't lie.
But the theme runs out. That's the problem.
But we don't hear the theme.
Well,
We don't hear the theme.
I know you can. I want to thank Charlie for being here, and Alan, great having you here. Jeff, you haven't had much to say tonight, but then again, you never were a trucker. Brian,
right.
always good talking with you. And Tony, anytime.
Talk to you tomorrow. I'm watching Breaking Bad, thanks to you.
What?
I'm started watching Breaking Bad because she said it was so good. It's actually really good.
It is
I'm
good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really
yeah,
good.
it's really
Trucker
good.
Steve, love hearing from you. Please continue. Call us again, will you, please?
Yes,
Love seeing you. We were always thinking about you. And also, Kevin, thank you. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you as well. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. No intersection tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.